Taryl here, and today we're going to talk about what happens when you leave a lawnmower or a piece of outdoor power equipment at a shop that's been repaired and hasn't been picked up and it's been here for a long time. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. Things got so bad, I had to call the cops. So for the most part, I've got a lot of good customers. They drop stuff off, we fix it, they pick it up and pay for it. But sometimes you get customers that drop stuff off and they're all in a hurry for it, and you hurry up and you get it done and you call them and they never come and pick it up. Well, we had a customer that dropped off a lawn tractor, a pretty nice lawn tractor. We did a bunch of work to it, hundreds of dollars of work to it, which they okayed, and then it sat here for months and months. And we tried calling them and calling them. And every time we do that, when we call them and can't get a hold of them, we put the date we called and the time that we called them, because we're trying to cover our keister. So we kept calling and calling, and we never got a hold of this customer. So we don't know what happened. A lot of things could happen. So we can never get a hold of this customer. So I don't know how things are in your state, but here in Podunk, Indiana, there's a process you have to go through in order for you to finally sell that piece of equipment. Because I'm thinking, all right, I've got my money wrapped up in this mower. It's been sitting here for months, not days, not weeks, months. And I need to get my money back, so I need to get rid of this piece of equipment. So the law here is you got to send the customer a registered letter. So we sent the registered letter, and they have to sign for it or they don't sign for it. And the way that works is you sent a letter, and if they sign for it, you get a receipt that says they signed for it. Okay, so that's your proof that somebody received the letter, because you've got a signature on there. Now, in that letter, because I have signs that say if it's left over so many days, we start to tack on storage charges. Because this isn't a store and lock. I'm not going to store your equipment for you. If you want to leave it here and not pay for it, and I got my money wrapped up in it, you're going to pay by the day, just like a towing yard or anything else. So we send them the letter. It's got all these storage charges on it that accumulate daily. $25 a day. It's a lot of money. All right, so we send the letter. It comes back. Nobody signed for it. So this way, if you get called into court, if your keister gets hauled into court, the judge has that letter. And whether they signed it or didn't sign it, that's your proof. And then he can open the letter if they didn't sign it. You know, of course, they're going to ask them, is this your address? Is this where you live? And they're going to go yes or no. And if they lie, you know, there can be held, you know, as perjury, because they're lying. So they got to, okay, do you live here or whatever? And then they open it, and then it goes from there. So that's why you do a registered letter through the mail. So the letter comes back, they didn't sign it. So I go, okay, legally I could sell the piece of equipment. So I sell it. They come in. Finally they come in. Hey, is my mower ready? We sold it. What do you mean you sold it? Sold it. We've been trying to get a hold of you for 4 months. Then the stories start. The lies and the stories. Well, I was on a job, and I was way up here in this other state. I was in Alaska. I was out in the wilderness. I was in the tundra. They don't have telephones there? No, I only get a telephone. You know, I got to travel 40 miles and all this stuff. I called you. I called here. I talked to your son. I talked to Junior. I talked to him for 20 minutes on the phone. You got a phone bill that proves that you talked to him for 20 minutes? I got a phone bill that proves that. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to get that phone bill. You better get my lawnmower back. or bad things are going to happen to you. I'm like, dude, I tried to get a hold of you. You never called here. You never talked to my son for 20 minutes. I'm sure he would remember that. Get a hold of Junior. He goes, that guy never called here. Lying, lying, lying. Now he's threatening me. Threatening me with bodily harm. You better get my lawnmower back. You don't know what's going to happen. Bad things are going to happen to you. So he leaves, and I'm thinking, all right, he's just some blowhard, talking crap. And then Junior goes, I don't know. You know, these people nowadays, a lot of them are unhinged. You might want to call the cops. So I call the police come, they make a police report, they tell me, all right, if anything else happens with this customer, give us a call if there's any other problems. I go, okay, I will. So a couple days go by, the guy calls back. He doesn't come in, he calls this time. He's got a whole different attitude. Totally different, like Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, come on, man. I can't believe you sold my lawnmower. Can you get my lawnmower back? Come on, man. I go, you got all these storage charges on there. You got hundreds of dollars. I go, your repair bill was $300. I go, now you owe me $800. You know, somewhere in that range. Because they've been sitting here so long. I go, you owe me all this money. I'll pay it. Just get my mower back. So luckily, I knew the person I sold it to. So I explained the situation to them, and they agreed to bring the mower back if I could get them another mower. So I did. I said, I have another mower here. I go, actually, it's better. I go, to make this right, since I'm making all this money on these storage charges. I says, I'll give it to you for the same price, even though it's a more expensive mower. Just bring that one back. And they said, okay, yeah, we'll do that. So I get the mower back, and I said, okay, I got your mower back. You owe me all this money. You gonna pay? And he came in and he paid. He paid that money. So I got lucky there, and he got lucky because he got his mower back. But the thing I didn't like was the lying. The saying that he was somewhere, you know, and that he was calling here and stuff, and I go, I don't know where you're calling from. You could be calling from your house. I don't have a locator on you that says where you're calling from. You're saying that you're way up somewhere in Alaska doing a job. How do I know that? So I said, that's, whatever. But he's like, oh yeah, I was up there and I didn't have phone service and I didn't have this and that, coming up with all these cockamamie, crazy scenarios. I go, well, whatever, regardless, the thing had been here for months on end, and you owe me this money. And I tried calling multiple times. You could have called back at any time. You could have had a family member call back. They act like they're in the Sahara and they got no way of getting in contact with people in today's society. Now, maybe back in the day before we had cell phones and internet and all that stuff, that might be the case. But today, come on. Don't start with the nonsense. So we came in, he paid all that money, paid all them storage charges and everything. Got his mower back. I've never seen him since. He's probably taken his business elsewhere, which is fine with me because I don't need customers like that. But that's what happens. That's the process you got to go through in this state. Sending a registered letter to cover your keister. So when people bring equipment in, you got to get their name, their address, their phone number. They're like, what do you need all that for? In case you don't come and pick it up. That's on high dollar items. We don't do that for everybody. Plus, I know a lot of my customers. And I got a lot of good customers. So a lot of them I've been dealing with for years. I know I don't have to do that. We even have some people that call and they go, I saw your sign there. And I don't want you to sell my piece of equipment. Is it going to be okay if it sits there? And I go, yeah, as long as it's not here over 30 days after it's been repaired. The day it's been repaired and we call you, that clock is ticking. But if it's somebody I know, I cut them some slack. You know what I mean? Or some people I tell and they go, well, I don't have the money. I go, Put some money down on it. That's good faith. You got some money, put $100 on it. Then it could sit here, I don't care, because you're making a payment on it. But that's the process you have to go through. That doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. I've had to sell a lot of people's equipment over the years because they never picked it up. I'll tell you a story. Story time, grass rats. Gather around. Come on. You in the back. Get up here. Come on, it's story time. Put that phone down and that bag of chips. Get up here, it's story time. And this is a sad story. A real sad story. So we got this zero turn. We went and picked it up from this customer and brought it to the shop, and we fixed it. And we called them and couldn't get a hold of the guy. He lived by himself. He was an older gentleman. And couldn't get a hold of him. So we kept calling and calling and calling. We couldn't get a hold of him. Same thing, putting down the dates and all that stuff. And I couldn't get a hold of, we went by his house and stuff because he didn't live that far. And it was all vacant and dark. And I go, something happened to him. I know something had to have happened to him. And it wasn't a customer that I knew. He was like a new customer. But since we picked it up, we had his address and all that, so we can go by there. And I go, well, let's just wait. Let's not sell his piece of equipment. I go, there's something more going on here. Let's just wait. So finally, his daughter called. And I said, yeah, we picked that mower up months ago. It's been fixed and that. And she said that her father had passed away. So we knew something had happened. Like I said, you get that gut feeling. So he had passed away, and she's like, well, how much do we owe you and all that? So there were no storage charges or any of that on there. I didn't add any of that to it. They just paid the initial bill. I'm not that cold-hearted that I'm going to do something like that. But when you sit there and lie to me, like that guy did, if he had a legitimate excuse, I would have probably took all them storage charges off of there, but he sat there and lied, and I knew he was lying. So when that happens, guess what? You're going to get a rude awakening, and it's going right to your wallet. I'm taking that money. So now I got another story about another mower, and this was just a cheap push mower. So the guy brings a push mower in, we fix it, we call him. He answers the phone. We tell him it's done. Yeah, okay, all right, I'll be in to pick it up. Never comes in to pick it up. We call him multiple times. He answers every time. And he always says he's coming to get it. And he never comes to get it. So it just being a cheap push mower, I didn't feel the need to have to send him a registered letter and all that stuff for this push mower. So I end up selling it. And then a year goes by, and he comes in with another guy, and they're dropping a mower off. And he goes, hey, I dropped the mower off here probably a year or two ago. A year or two ago. That's what he said. Is it still here? And I go, no, I sold it. That was over a year ago. We called you. You kept saying you were going to come and get it. You never came and got it. And he acknowledged all that. Yeah. I just thought it was still here. I go, no, I sold it. He goes, well, can I get the money for it that you sold it for? And I go, no, that's not how it works. I sold it for the price of the repairs to get my money back. I didn't care about that crappy push mower. We sold it for whatever the repair was on it, which I think at that time was like 50 or 60 bucks. And he was cool about it and everything. And he's like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. So you have that scenario too, You gotta kind of weigh what the piece of equipment is that you're selling. That other case, that guy, it was a garden tractor. It was a big garden tractor. So that you're gonna want to cover your keister on. But if it's like a pressure washer or a push mower or some kind of cheap chainsaw or something like that, something where you can go, okay, all right, yeah, don't get, mad or crazy or whatever. I'll make it up to you. I usually got something around here that I could Go, all right, well, I got this cheap chainsaw, sell it to you. Let me look up your bill, see what it was. All right, it was $50, $60 to fix that chainsaw that I sold on you because you never answered the phone or you never came in or whatever. Here, I'll sell you this one for the $60. It's gonna be $60. There's always ways to smooth, the ruffled feathers. You could smooth them out, the ruffled feathers of the customer. But yeah, sometimes that happens, and those are things you gotta look out for when you're running a small engine shop. It's not like a car where you got a title and you can put a lien on it and all this. This stuff doesn't have titles on it. They have to do the registered letter thing. In this state, I don't know what the laws are in your state, but maybe you can tell me in the comment section below. Or maybe how you would have handled it. And there's your dinner. Again, now you got more dinner. You got 2 helpings of dinner now.